here today with Bren Sheriff, Get Your House in Order columnist, and our newest podcast host. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have been a financial professional for over 50 years. I at one time was a certified financial planner, which meant that I had all my securities license 763. Now I have moved on because the clientele that I serve, they don't need to be in the market anymore. And so I now hold the designation of a CSA, Certified Senior Advisor. And that intent is to get people at a place of comfort so that their money so they will not outlive their money, and making provisions for their care should there be any incapacities before they make a transition. It's kind of the long and the short of it.
Okay. How did you become interested in financial services?
Very short and succinct. When I found out that I was pregnant, a month later, my husband had an aneurysm. The fact that things that I did not know changed my whole life. And so I became dedicated. If I had known better, I could have done better. I didn't know. And so the things that would have made my life easier and my son's life easier through understanding when a person makes a transition and they've been employed and they have insurance, what is portable, what is not portable, even in getting those benefits with an employer. And I said, I don't want anyone to have to walk a mile in these moccasins. So I became active in financial services.
Why do you think that people, especially Black people, need to take control of their finances sooner rather than later?
They say the rich get richer and the poor get poor. And unfortunately, many people, Black folks that I talk to, they think, well, I haven't got enough to be concerned about. And when you don't have enough to be concerned about, you should have some concerns. Because what you have, you need to hold on to, and we need to be better at giving our family, leaving our family something to start from. And that is why we need to begin planning early and establishing that legacy.
What are some ways that people can start to build generational wealth for the future?
I always say insurance is the Swiss Army knife of financial planning. When you don't have the money, as they say, fake it to make it. And insurance, in a way, will allow you to fake it. You may not have $500,000 in cash saved for your family, but if you start early enough, you can have an insurance policy that you keep up that would give the family that type of money, which then could become an endowment, meaning it's there, it's earning interest, even at 10% interest a year. $500,000 is going to earn $50,000 for you, and you haven't even touched the principal. We don't understand how money works. We know about working for money, and yet we spend it on depreciating assets. We buy what we want, and we beg for what we need. And that is one of the things that we as Black people need to change. We need to flip our script.
How important is a succession plan?
A succession plan is extremely important. And most of the time when I talk to people and I say, do you have a succession plan? And they say, well, I've got my insurance. A succession plan is more than what will happen when you pass. We're living longer, but we're not living healthier. I believe that many of us have had relatives that were no longer able to care for themselves, that needed long-term care, whether it's done by a family member or whether or not they're put in an institution, but they're not able to take care of themselves. So a succession plan that you would write, you would indicate how you want it. It's almost like a Burger King. Have it your way, because it causes dissension in families if you don't have something in place. One family member said, well, Mama wanted this, whether it's related to her care or even related to burials. And another one would say, well, I heard Mama say this. There's nothing in writing, and so you get discord and unnecessary arguing and bickering in our families because we did not set the record straight by leaving written instructions.
So in this week's Get Your House in Order column, you talk about how people perceive Black financial professionals. Why do you think Black people are or were so willing to take advice from someone who didn't look like them instead of valuing the advice given from someone who did look like them?
There is, and it's kind of in our culture, that we believe that other people that are lighter hues, their water is wetter, their grass is greener, their sugar is sweeter. Why? I think it must be in our DNA, because we have been controlled by these folks. They were the ones that took care of us, or when I shouldn't say really take care of us. They were the ones that said when you can eat, when you can sleep, when you can walk, when you can talk, when you work, and all of those things. And so I think it must be in our DNA that when we are looking for advice, direction, or guidance, we look to them. I hope that we get out of that. I do believe that we're coming out of that and becoming more self-determined in our community.
Speaking of self-determination in the community, how can Black people start or return to circulating their dollars in their own communities?
Just take it by Black. If you're having any type of service, there's probably a Black person that does that. That's lawn care, that's hair care, that's any kind of service. Accountants, attorneys, any financial planners, any type of service, there are Black people that do it. So, if you don't know them and they're unknown entities, ask friends, ask family. Do you know anyone that does this? Do you know a Black plumber, licensed plumber? Do you know a Black heating person? Ask. Scripture tells us, ask and will be given, seek and you'll find. And that's something that we have not really done very well. Circulating our dollars in our community.
Tell us more about your podcast and when people can tune in.
Well, I am going to have a podcast once a week. The actual time, I'm not exactly sure, but it's going to be live streamed. I would hope at some point in time I'll have a schedule so those that have read my column or those that are subscribed to the live streaming would be able to actually call in. I love talking to people.
Speaking of talking to people, how can people get in touch with you?
I have a phone number. My phone number is 773-817-0601. I'm located here in Chicago. Most of the information that I have is based on what I know to be the laws here in Illinois, because we have what they call common English law. Things related to real estate, they're very similar. but other practices and procedures are different. So if you're listening and you're in Illinois, I know I'm going to be spot on. If you're outside, I would have to research that for you.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like our audience to know?
Yes, it's never too early. I have a situation right now with a client that called me, or a potential family client. The woman is in her 40s. She has been diagnosed with a terminal condition. She's been placed in hospice, and she does not have her affairs in order. And there's already bickering in the family.
Thank you so much for sharing information.
Thank you, Tia. It's a pleasure.
Remember to make plans to join us again next week